Well, you don't want to accept that the Quran says that your clergy, your man in authority, corrupted the Bible. But what about your scholars? Your scholars admit that the Bible is corrupted. And the Bible is full of fabrications. You mixed Allah's words with your own made-up stories. Want to see an example? After you see the example, I know you're gonna end up doing your mental gymnastics to disagree. Let's find out. David.
As we see in Mark 5:13, 2,000 pigs drowned after Jesus sends demons into the pigs. And the pigs rush off a cliff and drown in the sea. Why on earth Jesus sent the demons into the pigs in the first place? And he didn't even know that the pigs would be drowning themselves. Poor pigs and the piglets. Did Jesus kill the pigs? Well, indirectly, he was responsible for it because, hey, he was the Son of God. He should have known better. And even to send the demons into the pigs was wrong in the first place anyway. Poor animals. But some Christians have come up with some lame excuses. Jesus did not actually kill the pigs to begin with. And they would say like, pigs didn't have souls. Or Jesus had to show his sovereign power over demons. Or Jesus could have been rebuking the owners of the pigs if the owners were Jewish, since the Jews were not allowed to eat or keep unclean animals, according to Leviticus 11:7. Oh, it doesn't matter how you look at it. Jesus was responsible for the death of the poor pigs. Now, let's move on and see what the several Gospels say about this story. To determine whether Jesus killed the pigs or not, let's find out how the Gospels are narrating this story. Well, the Gospel of Mark was written first, and that the author of the Gospel of Matthew and the author of Gospel of Luke both use the Gospel of Mark as source. This is called synoptic principle of a story using, right? Okay, let's move on. As we know, this story occurs in 3 places: Mark, Matthew, and Luke. It doesn't happen in John. The first thing we realize when we look at each of the synoptic Gospels of Mark, Matthew, and Luke is that the story happens in 3 different locations. The Gospel of Mark says the story occurs in the town of Gerasa. The problem with this is that Gerasa is about 30 miles from the Sea of Galilee. It is simply impossible for the story to have taken place. Hence, it is either corrupted or made up. Here, since this is nowhere near the Sea of Galilee, the story was definitely made up, or the name was made up. Later scribes who were reproducing copies of the Gospel of Mark thought that the author of Mark made a mistake. Therefore, they had changed the location of this story to occur in the country of the Gadarenes. Wow! Even though these names seem familiar, but they're not similar. They're completely different towns. Right? The author of Luke, who does not appear to be familiar with the geography of the area, simply repeats the same mistake of using Gerasa. The author of Gospel of Matthew, however, realizing the impossibility of this story to have occurred in Gerasa, changes the story to occur in Gadara. He also changed the story to have two demon-possessed men instead of the one that the author of Mark and Luke mention. This is seen in Matthew 8:28. So you tell me, who corrupted what and who is right? But, my dear friends, later scribes who realized that Gadara itself was about 5 miles from the shore of the Sea of Galilee changed the location of their story in manuscripts of all 3 synoptic gospels to occur in the country of the Gergesenes. All of this is to say that the author of the Gospel of Mark was not intended to tell a historical story, but rather a political story. Am I right? Something new. Political story. Because that's what these Christians, scripture specialists or the scholars are coming up with nowadays. Another new excuse. In both the Gospel of Mark and the Gospel of Luke, the demons are called legions, as we see, for example, in Mark 5:9. That's what they are asking us to look into. The word legion. All right, this is very important because it shows the political reason for the author of Mark to add this story, Political reason, my friends, political reasons. Since the author of this story felt that the Romans were using their control of the territory to dominate and exploit its citizens, the author of Mark created this story to display his disgust for the Romans. Oh my goodness gracious me. Oh my goodness gracious me. What are you going to say now, Christians?
See what you have done to our beloved prophet? You have turned him into a mindless animal killer. Astaghfirullah. May Allah forgive us. And you have corrupted your book with inhuman, irresponsible, fabricated stories and lies.